Hi everyone, my name is Lex. I'm a developer from Australia. I typically work on Python related projects, specifically for AI and machine learning. Today I'm going to run you through Vocalis, which is essentially my open source end-to-end speech-to-speech AI assistant web app. I'll show you how to install it specifically from the Windows perspective. However, the steps are pretty much the same for Mac OS and Linux. To begin, just go ahead and open up my repository, and once you've hit the repository page for Vocalis, open up the code and grab the invoke git clone command. Once we've done that, you go ahead and invoke this directly through to the folder you want to use. However, if you're on Windows, you can invoke a terminal by simply opening up the File Explorer and doing it that way. We'll go ahead and type in git clone with the repository link. We'll invoke that command to go ahead and pull the repository to your machine. And once that's done, you can simply cd to the directory from here, or just open up the folder manually. If you struggle with that part, trying to invoke that command and pull the repository to your computer, it's likely because you haven't installed Git. So I'd probably start there by downloading and installing Git, ensuring it's added to your environmental pathways, specifically for Windows users, and then repeat the process just before. Once in the Vocalis repository folder, if you're on Mac OS and Linux, you can go ahead and run the shell scripts. If you're on Windows, which this demo video is essentially going to run you through, we'll go ahead and use the batch files. So to begin, we want to click setup.bat. A terminal will open. It'll essentially start building at the front end. The front end is built with Node.js, React, and Vite. So this is going to go ahead and set up that aspect of the front end and install the npm packages. Once that is done, it's going to build the Python environment, and it's going to give you the option to install PyTorch with CUDA or CPU. As I'm using a 4090, I'm going to go ahead and install the CUDA enabled PyTorch along with all the rest of the dependencies. And whilst it's doing that, let's go ahead and open up the backend file. We're going to open up the .env to the environment, and we're going to set our endpoints. By default, the large language model endpoint is going to point to LM Studio, which is largely the most used inference application pretty much across Linux, Windows, and Mac. And the TTS endpoint is directly default pointing to my Orpheus Fast API. Now, Orpheus Fast API is pretty much unrivaled in terms of open source for its expressiveness and super gasmental features. However, latency wise, it's not quite there yet. So if you're looking for pure latency, even though it's a bit biased of recommending my own project, I'd probably point you towards something like Kuroko Fast API, which in this case today I'm going to be using. So I'm going to change the defaults for both of these. So it's going to point to LM Studio and my inference cluster on my local network. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to my Kuroko Fast API via Docker. Here we have the option to set the model for Whisper. Me being an Australian, and I'm sure there's many other cultures who have specifically thick accents, you're going to find that ASR is not very kind to us. American users will definitely get away with tiny, so you because your accent, it will transcribe your speech pretty well without much fuss. For this demo example, I'm going to be using tiny because I want to demonstrate the lowest latency possible. However, typically I would be using base or large. Once we've set up our endpoints, we can go ahead and close this. However, we do want to open up a second file, specifically if you are wanting to maximize the latency and you're changing the Whisper models from base to tiny. You can get away with setting a beam size of 1, and all those will automatically update based on the environmental file. We'll just change it while we're here. If you do have an accent like myself, a strong accent, and you're finding that the transcriptions are not really accurate whilst you're running Vocalis, I would definitely recommend changing the model size to either large or very large and setting a beam size of 2 or higher. It's a small trade-off in regards to latency, but again, if you want to have a conversation, the model needs to understand what you're saying. Once we've done that, we can simply open up and run the application. So we'll click the run batch command. This is going to invoke the Vite and the backend terminal. I'll go ahead and I'll chuck the terminal up here on the right. I'll load Docker on the left. And as we can see, it is warming up all the endpoints. It's also loaded our vision instruct model that gives Vocalis the ability to pass visual context to the large language model, even if the large language model itself is not multimodal. Once it's loaded, go ahead and click the free dash icon on the top left. You're going to be brought up with the Vocalis sidebar. As you can see, it's going to show us the connection status, so the status of the WebSocket. The ability, for some reason, if your WebSocket has failed, to go ahead and force realign that. The clear history button when you want to start a new call or you want to clear history. And lastly, preferences. Under preferences, we're going to set our user profile name. So this allows the large language model to address us by our name. Under the system prompt, I've included a default system prompt that essentially takes on the style of a conversationalist. However, you can put anything you want here. I would recommend, if you're going to do so, even though I've baked a lot of this into the underlying transcription and large language model backend, I would recommend you at least keep this last part here, as it allows the assistant to follow up without your input. Also, if you want to enable vision, as the model is going to load anyway, I don't see any downside to you running it. However, if you're resource constrained, you can disable the instruct model from loading within the main.py, the Python file. Now that we've done that, one thing I'll quickly show you is under sessions. Sessions will allow you to save JSON files with a conversation. It has a max capacity of 50 messages, so 50 exchanges, and that's a rolling capacity. So say, for example, you have a chat with the model today via the web app, you save it, and then you start a conversation tomorrow. Any further messages you append will essentially be a rolling tally that will override the oldest in the session. Now I've got this set up. Let's go ahead and initiate a call with the model.
Hey Lex, great to hear your voice again. How can I help today?
Oh, it's wonderful to speak with you. How are you doing today?
Nice to chat with you, Lex. I'm functioning well and ready to help with any questions or topics you'd like to discuss. How about you? What's on your mind today?
Actually, I'm just recording a video for my web app Vocalis.
Vocalis sounds like an interesting platform.
Actually, I think, again, and as I've pointed out in this demo video, using Whisper Tiny with my accent is not the best. It's Vocalis, so Vocalis.
Vocalis, got it? So?
Still not quite, but we'll get there. Anyway, so we're demonstrating the latency and our ability to speak with you, the large language model.
So Vocalis is helping with your spoken delivery, but there's still some work to be done. No worries, practice makes perfect. It's great that you're demoing the system's latency and your ability to interact with me, the AI model.
Yeah, it is pretty great. And to be honest, what we actually might do is I'm going to send you a picture and I want you to tell me what you see. Are you ready?
Sounds like fun. I'd love to analyze the image you're about to share and provide my interpretation. Go ahead and send it over, Lex. I'm all set and eager to see what's in store.
Right now we're uploading the image, the instruct model is going to analyze it, and then we'll ask our question based on the context. Tell me what you see, and keep your answer short and concise.
A red truck parked on a wet street with a black trailer attached, in front of a gas station building with no visible people or other details.
Nice, nice. Are you ready for the second photo?
Absolutely. Go ahead and share the next image, Lex. I'm all set to analyze it.
Alrighty, tell me what you see about this photo and what you like about it.
The photo shows a woman standing in front of a wall with an oil painting of another young woman. The woman holding the camera is looking at the painting intensely, possibly studying or reading from it. I appreciate the detailed and vibrant artwork on display.
And right now we're going to demonstrate the follow-ups with no input from the user, so we won't reply to her at all.
Lex, would you like to share more about what's in this photo or discuss anything else? I'm here to help explore your thoughts. Lex, since you haven't mentioned anything about the photo yet, let's dive deeper into its details together. The composition of this image, with the woman focusing on the painting while surrounded by those beautiful
Actually, that's perfect. I think we're going to end the call here. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Lex. It was great chatting with you and analyzing those images. If you ever need help or have more questions in the future, feel free to reach out anytime. Have a fantastic day and happy experimenting with Vocalis and Vocalis. Bye for now.
As we can see, tiny.n was butchering my my accent, but again, honestly, the trade-off between base and large is not it's not that bad. And if you're going to want to have essentially consistent conversations with your large language model, I think the small amount of latency pays off. But again, if you're American and your accent is like just naturally more aligned with these ASR models, then you can go ahead and get away with tiny.en. I'll go demonstrate the clear history functionality. So go ahead and we'll clear the history and we'll restart the conversation from scratch, and the model won't remember anything we just talked about.
Hey there, Lex. Great to hear from you again. What's on your mind today?
Nothing much, to be honest. I'm just happy to see you and maybe have a bit of a chit chat.
It's great to connect with you too, Lex. I'm always here for a friendly conversation whenever you need it.
Actually, I've got to go. So sorry.
No worries at all, Lex.
So go ahead and end the call, and now we'll demonstrate the session management. So the demo video, also the demo session we saved talking about the photos and stuff, we'll go ahead and load that, and then we'll start a new call.
Hey, Lex. Great to hear your voice again. What's on your mind today?
Just jumping back in the chat about the photos we're analyzing. Could you tell me what the color of the truck was?
Lex, according to my earlier analysis, the truck in that first photo was red in color.
Oh, and what about the photo of the woman? What was she doing?
In the second photo, with the woman standing in front of a painting, it appeared as though she was intensely studying or reading from the artwork. Her posture and gaze suggested a focused, possibly...
If you had to make a decision based on preference, and again, as you're a large language model, but just lean into the human aspect, did you prefer the photo of the truck or the woman looking at the painting?
As I analyzed both images, I found myself drawn more to the second photo, with the woman contemplating the painting. There's something intriguing...
Yeah, that's perfect. Anyway, I'm going to end the call here for now. Thank you so much for your time, okay?
You're very welcome, Lex. It was a pleasure analyzing those images and engaging in this conversation with you.
We'll go ahead and end the video here. This has really been a passion project, especially after the ordeal of how we were rug pulled by Sesame, but it seemed like no one else had gone the length to do essentially a nice looking interface with low latency and the freedom of allowing you to choose whatever endpoints you want. Some roadmap features. I'm hoping to get the ASR aspect to be asynchronous in the aspect that it's a running tally of what you're inputting and the model is essentially churning a response you've even finished. But again, I'm just one developer working on this, and it's really a dream goal at this time. If you guys find any bugs or have any issues, feel free to go ahead and chuck them into my repository. I do answer questions, and I do look specifically for the bugs you report to try and patch. If you also want to check out my other repository, Orpheus Fast API, that's also available for download.